right. Good morning, everyone. This is the 53rd annual meeting of the members of the 3rd Laguna Hills Mutual, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation. Today is Thursday, October 5th, 2023. It's 9:30 a.m. We are live here in the boardroom as well as available for viewing on Granicus and Zoom. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. All of us are here. We'll start today's meeting with Pledge of Allegiance, being led by Director Prince. Chris?
Yes, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chris. All right. Can I get a motion to approve today's agenda? Chris moves. Ira seconds. Okay. Any suggested changes to today's agenda for this first annual meeting? Okay. Hearing none, we'll consider them approved. Agenda item 4 is just reference. So these were meeting minutes that were approved back in November of last year. From a chair remarks perspective, don't have a whole lot. Been an interesting year. Overall, I believe that the board has progressed in its efforts to help identify efficiencies to reduce costs, maintain, if not increase, service levels, as well as improve communication to our members and maintain and improve our property. That said, progress has been slower than I think many of us would have liked. The process of getting things done doesn't lend itself to speed, but this board will, I'm sure, will keep pushing to drive improvements to operations and effectiveness for our members. The chairs of the 3rd committees will now share a brief status regarding updates of what has been accomplished over the past year and what they're hoping to accomplish in the coming year. For you chairs, when you want the slide to move along, just say next slide. Thanks. So next slide, okay. Ira, the floor is yours.
I can go with the next slide. Basically, 2023 was a continuation of just providing basic services, maintaining lawn, shrubs, trees, irrigation, trying to fine-tune all those, continuing trimming more than 3,000 trees, planting more than 12,000 shrubs, and continuing to install and tune the new irrigation system, which will benefit everybody as far as less water usage and save a little bit of money. Also, it'll save on labor as far as coming out and adjusting things if things break. We continue to address the requests that fell through the cracks. This is still an ongoing process, and hopefully by the end of the year, my goal is to have virtually all the old tickets and old problems fixed. Hopefully that'll happen. We did start turf elimination in problematic areas. Can you go to the next slide, please? And so for next year, basically it'll be a little bit more of the same. Try to keep reducing costs while maintaining the service levels that have been selected. Focus a little bit more on turf reduction after we get all those tickets caught up. And just to beautify with a new landscape plant palette. And hopefully be able to initiate the pre and post paint programs, which will save us money in the long term, and hopefully give the residents increased satisfaction, so that things will just get done a little quicker. We're trying to improve the beauty of the landscape by piloting ways to convert non-functional turf into usable areas. This will also benefit, give 3rd Mutual hopefully a few more assets and amenities, improve the process with the updated plant palette, which is ongoing at this point, to determine what to put in where. with some outside help from landscape architects and designers. Also, determining method of reducing and eliminate slope overgrowth onto the sidewalks, which seems to be a perpetual problem, which is going to be more of a plant change out, which is also probably going to be a long-term project since we have so many slopes within the village. And as I mentioned, we're continuing to acquire designs from landscape architects and designers to modernize our landscape, make it prettier, up to date, save water, save labor, and therefore hopefully keep our costs down, which means not having to raise dues for that aspect of our services. And another big thing is the new education program and continuing education of staff on these new plants that we're putting in, so they know when to provide labor and when not to. And hopefully, with a little work on the customer service process, we can get things done a little bit quicker than they have been done in the past. Next slide. And that's it for me.
Great.
Over to Jim.
Great, thanks, Ira. Go ahead.
Okay, manor alterations. Accomplishments for 2023, we have sped up the variance process from 4 weeks to 8 days in most cases. We've standardized construction work hours and holidays with United for uniform efficiency within the village. We've continued updating architectural standards to reflect current products, procedures, materials, to make more timeless, flexible, and to expedite alteration approvals. The ones that are revised and in process are standards 1, 31, 26, 4, 41, 48, 45, 42, 8, 16, and 41B. We have a stack of standards that's about 1.5 inches thick. I had hoped to get through a 1/2 inch of them. We've probably gotten through a 1/4 inch, but we are speeding up our process in going through those standards and bringing them up to date. Next slide. We've revised the fee structure to better reflect actual staff time and lower cost to members, including the resale fees, the alteration fees, the solar panel fees, the recordable common area, revocable license fee, appeal process for unauthorized alteration fee. We've revised mutual consent form to make it more simple and concise. Over-the-counter variances continue to improve efficiencies. Next. Developing more detailed interior inspections, possibly include low-flow toilet certification to avoid a separate inspection and fee to the members. Developing policy for incidental work related to approved variances, again, improving efficiency. Developing policy for repair of prior alterations as chargeable service. Again, all these things are trying to make things more streamlined. We want to not take so much time. We want to keep improving so that we don't duplicate services with the city, so that the community as a whole can function much more efficiently when they want to do alterations. We've developed policy for incentive for members to upgrade pipes during a remodel. Next slide.
If we could pause just for a minute, we found out there's no Zoom or sound on Granicus, so Grant's going to help us fix it really quick.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, we can resume.
Okay, next slide. One more, let's see. policy.
I'm scared.
We meet often. I guess I need to turn my speaker back on or it won't work either. Okay, to continue in 2024, define a contractor violation policy. Meet often with the City of Laguna Woods to streamline all aspects of alterations to avoid duplication and confusion. The water heater replacement has been simplified to attain city permit. No mutual consent is required. You just need to inform the HOA after the fact. Asbestos testing, abatement, and air clearance completely transferred to the city as a responsible governing entity. Next slide.
That's it.
And that's it.
That's it. Thanks, Jim. Ralph, it's all yours.
Thank you. In 2023, there were 9 buildings that experienced the copper water line remediation, and in addition to that, 7 buildings, 7 3-story buildings got the waste line remediation. That's relining the cast iron pipes, particularly with an epoxy lining. Gate 11 French Drain project will be completed in November. That's currently under construction right now. We are on schedule to paint 19 buildings this year. There have been 30 built-up roofs replaced with a PVC cool roof. In addition to that, 2 tile roof replacements. Applied 110,452 square feet of paving in 9 locations, and 300 square feet of seal coat in 26 locations. Next slide, please. We performed load-bearing component inspections in accordance with the state mandate 326 at 45 manors, only 7 of which required any structural attention, structural repair. We did 449 buildings that were inspected for termites. 59 of those required fumigation rather than just local treatment, and there was also some dry rot attention to structural elements. We began a program to install improved washer-dryer machines. These will be Speed Queens and work hopefully a lot better. They're American-built, and parts will be available if we need them. There'll be a couple of elevator upgrades are also planned by the end of the year. Next slide, please. We will continue to increase our potable water and wastewater relining those pipes. We've increased the budget markedly to do that. We'll install more of those newer washers and dryers, hopefully getting a lot of them replaced so we'll have less problems with that. We'll have a continued investigation of water intrusion in the Garden Villa garages. That's kind of a bugaboo that's been bothering us for quite a while. We'll replace some of the leaky windows in the rec room areas. That's on schedule. Shepherd's Crook fence along Santa Maria Avenue is about half done. We need to do about half of what's left. We'll continue monitoring EV charging and technology and considering costs involved with that, and also focusing on cost reduction and maintaining our improving service levels. That's always a consideration. I think that's all.
Yeah. Next slide, please. Thanks. And for Water Conservation Committee, Donna?
Yes, and I'd like to start with the most exciting of our accomplishments. Every year, several of the water agencies in Orange County and South County particularly put on a program called H2O for HOAs. This year it'll be held October 26th, and thanks to the efforts of our members and residents, and hopefully partly related to the efforts of the Water Conservation Committee, for the first time we've been invited to the table. We are going to be part of the panel that is going to be presented, and again, for anyone interested, it's October 26th from 8 to 12 in the morning at the Norman P. Murray Center. We are very pleased that we have regular participation at our water conservation meetings, which, by the way, the committee does meet quarterly. The next meeting will be October 26th, the same day as the panel of H2O for HOAs. And the El Toro Water District directors have really been wonderful about regularly participating in our meetings, and that really has helped us work collaboratively with them on our water conservation efforts. To give you an idea of how successful you've been, our residential or potable water use was reduced in the last calendar year by 150 million gallons of potable water. That's a lot of water. And that continues this year, not at the same level, because of course if we keep at the same level, eventually we won't be using any water, and that's not going to happen. So our percentages are going to keep going down, but thank you to everybody. We will keep up those efforts, and we know you will as well. We have been active in the Laguna Woods Earth Day event, which is usually every April, and in some of those presentations. One of the best ways to measure our efforts in terms of residential decrease in water use has been through Tier 4. Tier 4 billing and Tier 4 charges are excessive water use. We can't really give a monetary number to what we save financially in our water bill based upon that 150 million gallons, because as our usage has gone down, the charges have gone up. And so the charge per unit has increased, and therefore it's difficult to see, but we can easily measure it when we look at Tier 4 excessive use. We used to run about 41 meters, 35 to 40, 41 or 2 meters that were in the Tier 4 range, which is a much higher charge per unit, and we now are between 12 and 14 meters, and usually those meters are in the smaller units. We have not had a single large garden villa building on the list of Tier 4 for quite some time. So it's not just the number, it's the quantity of meters and units that are in those. We did, as a committee and as a board, act on outside hose use and have limited that. And the reason is, you look at the outside hose, the one attached to your manor or your building, if you're in a garden villa or multi-unit building, and somehow it looks like it's outside water. And our outside water in Third Mutual is all recycled water with the exception of gates 11 and 14. So there's quite a difference. And that hose bib, the faucet attached on the outside of any of our buildings, is always residential water. So it's of great concern when we have that running. So that use has been limited to only personal plants and only Wednesdays and Sundays. And we think that has also helped. And then there's been heightened of the need to have drought tolerant plantings where we can. You heard in our landscape report, and it is the same for us in any of our own plants. And that is pretty much the list of what we've accomplished. Let's take a peek at what the goals are for this coming year on the next slide. Obviously, we're going to continue to work not just within Third Mutual, but with the other mutuals as well regarding shared programs to help continue to decrease water wastage, continue working with El Toro Water District to increase our water use efficiency, and continue communicating with our members and residents the importance of water conservation as a way of life. It's here to stay. The need for it is here to stay. And we always should remember the water we save today is the water we'll need tomorrow. So we thank you all for your efforts. And with that, we'll move on to Mark.
Great, thanks, Donna. Next slide. And I'll talk about Resident Policy and Compliance Committee. Next slide, please. Over the past year, the Resident Policy and Compliance Committee has worked to modify our compliance processes and communications in an effort to be more considerate and compassionate to our members. As examples, the compliance staff used to recommend disciplinary actions. However, contrary to what you may have recently heard, at the request of this board, they stopped doing that in November of last year. We've also worked with our legal team to reduce the harshness of the wording of some of our notices that get sent to members. We've also implemented a pre-hearing process to allow board members to decide whether a hearing is required versus having compliance always be the deciding factor in all hearings. And always, we continue to review our policies and resolutions to ensure that they're clear, they're concise, and meaningful. Some examples that we've done this year are our lease rental process, pet policies, breezeway, walkway policies, nuisance policies, and our barbecue policy. Next slide. For 2024, this board has reduced the requested funding of the compliance department for third by 25%. So we'll be closely looking at our policies and resolutions to make sure that we're focusing our compliance team and efforts on the most appropriate matters. And, with that, want to make sure that we're continuing to address rule violations with compliance to help ensure that our members are enjoying the village as much as possible. Just so you know, the top violations that tend to come in are clutter, animal nuisance, illegal occupancy, landscaping, and maintenance. And that's all we have as our annual review. I'm going to move on to agenda item number 7. So I'm going to start or move on this meeting, which is kind of where we're going to talk about board members. We're going to acknowledge the directors whose current terms are expiring today. Those members are Andy Ginocchio, Moon Yoon, Jules Zalon, and Donna Rain-Sosak. Just for your information, we'll talk about the other continuing directors. 3 directors whose terms expire in October of next year are Director Ira Lewis, Director Jim Cook, and myself, Mark Laws. There are 4 directors whose terms are going to expire in October of 2025. Those are Directors S.K. Park, Director Ralph Engdahl, Director Chris Prince, and Director Kush Bada. Thank you all. And with that, I'm going to introduce the newly director. So Donna, she'll be leaving the board today. I want to thank you for your enthusiasm, your dedication, your thoughtful input to board discussions. I appreciated all that. I know that being on the board takes a lot of time, especially if you're a officer like you are with the treasurer. So I hope you are looking forward to figuring out how you're going to fill that free time that you're now going to have. So thank you very much.
And thank you. It's been a privilege and a pleasure.
Same. All right, I'm going to introduce the newly elected directors for 3-year terms that will expire in 2026, October of 2026. Those will be Director Andy Ginocchio, Director Moon Yoon, Director Jules Allen, and new director, Brad Reinhardt. So Brad, would you kind of come on up and have a seat here by Donna? Or sure, yeah, that'd be fine. Just so you can be on the dais, okay? All right. And look at that. Got his own name tag and everything. Welcome to the board. All right. And now moving on to agenda item 10, members' comments. Michaela, do we have any members' comments today? All right. No members' comments and thus no responses to member comments. So we're going to adjourn this 53rd annual meeting and move right along to the next meeting, which is...
If we could have just 5 minutes in between so I could upload the next meeting on a Granicus.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So we'll pause for 5 minutes. We're going to start again at 10 o'clock.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're ready to start whenever you are. Thank you.
We're all here, so we may as well start. All right, this is the 53rd organizational meeting of the Third Laguna Hills Mutual Board of Directors, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation. Today is Thursday, October 5th, 2023. It's now 9:57 a.m. We are here in the boardroom as well as, it looks like on TV and Granicus and Zoom. I looked at the TV guide this morning and we weren't on, but since the on-air signs are shown, I'm guessing we are. Start calling the meeting to order. We still have a quorum. May I get a motion to approve today's agenda? Okay, Jules moves, Ira seconds. Thank you both. Any suggested changes to today's agenda? Okay, seeing none, consider the agenda approved by consent. Again, we have last year's minutes available for reference should they be needed. Do we have any member comments for this meeting? Okay, we have none. All right, we're on to agenda item 5, which is the election of the officers. So we're going to do this kind of nominate and vote for each of the positions. So the way I'll kind of run this is I'll mention a position such as president. We'll take nominations until there are no more nominations. If you are interested in the role and no one nominates you, feel free to nominate yourself. That's okay. And then once all the nominations have been taken and we ask and there are no more, we'll kind of close nominations. And then if there's only a single person nominated, that person will be selected by acclamation. If there's more than one person nominated for any position, then we'll vote. All right? So we'll start with the position of board president. I'm opening up. Do we have any nominations for board president today? Ira?
I'd like to nominate Mark Laws for president.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. I should note that when somebody is nominated, if they're nominated by somebody other than themselves, I'll ask if they're interested in accepting the nomination. So, because some people might be nominated that aren't interested in the role, and I'm interested, so that's fine. Thank you. Any other nominations? Andy? Okay.
Director Janoki, can you say that into the mic?
Is your
please?
microphone on?
Yeah, not here.
I nominate Moon Yun for president.
Okay.
I second that nomination.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Excellent. Any other? No.
I'll accept the nomination.
Okay. Got it. Sorry. I forgot to say that. Ask that. Thank you, Moon. Okay. Any other nominations? Okay. All right. Since we'll close nominations, since we have 2, we'll vote. So this is a blank piece of paper we're writing name, or they're both on there?
For president on here, and you can just fill in the name.
Okay. Thank you.
Paul, how do we send our votes?
Yes, thank you very much. But what I really need is a hand.
Kayla?
Yes,
them do
SK and Kush, is there any way you guys can message your votes in the Zoom chat?
Yes. Can you mute my voice and just you and I talk?
Yes, here, I'll send you guys individually a chat, and if you could respond back to that with your vote.
So you want me to say it so that you can write down?
No.
No, please do not say it out loud. You'll have to respond back in the chat with your vote.
Oh, send it. Chat? Okay.
Can you send it again? I didn't see it.
Okay, can you see it?
Yes, I received yours, SK. Thank you.
Oh, okay, good, thank you.
I haven't received anything from you, Michaela.
I'll resend the chat to you.
Thank you. I don't know where to write this. Hey, Gul, can you come here?
When in doubt, ask your wife.
I can't see this.
Has to be your old grandson.
This one. This one. Ay, કરવાનું છે મને કે સમજ નહીં પડતો. Send to.
We can hear you, Kush, just to let you know.
Okay, just a moment. I can't barely see this properly, so bear with me. Thank you. Michaela, I don't think it came very clearly. It just disappeared again.
Okay, I'll resend one more time. If not, you can always email as well.
Okay.
Why don't you
Kush.
simply have him say it?
It's a secret ballot.
Kush, can you?
But it
can you
doesn't
click
have to be
chat?
secret. You can, I mean, I can say who I voted for, and now it's not secret.
It's okay. Give me a second. I'm trying my best.
Hey, Kush, can
Yes.
you push chat? That will give you the where you type whose name. Click the chat.
I don't see any chat in this. I see
Oh.
question, answer, mute, and participants and more. No chat in this. Okay, I'll
Or
just send you an email, Michaela.
Thank you.
Give me 30 seconds.
The tension is building.
Okay, email is sent. Thank you.
Okay, I received it. Thank you, Kush. Okay, so with the results, we have Mark Laws elected as third board president with a total of 6 to 5.
All right, thank you, board. Appreciate the vote of confidence. Now move on to the position of first vice president. Can I get nominations for first vice president? Ralph?
I'd like to nominate Jim.
Okay. Jim Cook?
I'll second that.
All right, Jim, you okay with that?
Yeah, I'll accept.
Okay. Any other nominations for first vice president? Okay, seeing none, not seeing any on Zoom as well. We'll consider nominations closed. And Jim, because you're the only one nominated, you are now first vice president. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Moving on to the officer of second vice president, opening up nominations for second vice president. Okay. Go ahead, Ira.
I was going to nominate Ralph.
Okay, as was I. Ralph, you okay with that?
I'll second it.
Okay. Okay, any other nominations? Okay, all right. Seeing none. Okay, we'll consider Ralph elected by acclamation. All right. Moving on to the position of treasurer.
I nominate Andy.
Okay.
I'll second. I'll second.
Okay. Andy, all right. Okay.
Is he going to accept?
Andy, is accepting Andy? Okay, good, thanks. Any other nominations? Anybody else interested in being treasurer? Okay, seeing none. Andy, congratulations, you're now the new treasurer. And then finally, we have the board secretary. Nominations open for secretary.
Nominate Chris.
All right, I'll second that. Anybody?
I will accept.
Okay, I'm sorry, I keep bypassing that. Okay, anybody else interested in being secretary? Okay. Seeing none, Chris, you're now continue as our secretary. Thank you. Thanks, board, for all of that. Agenda item 6, just want to confirm our ex officio officers. So Siobhan Foster is our ex officio vice president, Carlos Rojas, our ex officio assistant secretary, and Steve Hormuth, our ex officio assistant treasurer. And moving on to agenda item 7, I'd like to request a motion to approve a resolution for the appointments of the officers that were elected today.
So moved.
Okay, so
Second.
Chris moves, Jim seconds. Okay. Anybody, why don't we just, since we're here, why don't we kind of raise our hands if we're okay with approving a resolution for the appointment of the officers elected today? Okay. All right. SK and Kush, if you can click your hand or let us know if you're in favor of the officers elected today.
Yes.
Okay. Kush says yes. SK?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And Jules, you voting no? Abstaining? Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't see your hand. Okay. So it looks like that's unanimous. Thank you. All right. And with that, we are going to adjourn today's meeting. It's now about 10:10. Thank you all very much for your participation. And
thank you. You for the congratulations.